Welcome to the show. My name is Dean. This is the very first week in review. What an honor, not only to have my very good friend, Mr. Lev Parnas, whistleblower, former MAGA OG, now turned dude that just slays every day the Trump regime from the inside out. But always, and I've sent you a couple of DMs. I've been following you for years. Former counterterrorism, current counterterrorism, terrorism expert, 5-time New York Times bestselling author. Sorry, dude, I'm going to do your thing right now. I'm just going to go through it.
Okay.
One of the sharpest military surveillance mind in the history of the United States Navy. Please welcome to the program none other than Mr. Malcolm Nance, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you, dude.
Hey, good to be here. Yeah, I just came in. It's super hot where I'm at. And it's even more hot because, as we were saying in the spin up of this, I had Joe Walsh on the Black Man Spy podcast, and it got shouty. I mean, we were both going off. That episode's going to run right to the top.
It's a day that a lot, dude. Today is a day where I think Trump is gonna a lot's go between Europe. So you and Joe Walsh. I also just got off. I did an episode with Congressman Don Bacon, my brother. And
Jesus Christ! I would like to have been on that one.
Oh, let me tell you, I'm about to release it in the next hour or so after we're done with this. But let me tell you,
did you ask him why he doesn't become an independent and caucus with the Democrats?
Well, we only had a half hour, but we got into the Epstein files, we got into the Pete Hegseth, we got into Ukraine, and we got into the Comey stuff. So there was a lot of stuff, and I could tell you one thing: you definitely, when I put it out there, we'll go over it later. But it's a hot day today for Donald Trump because the things
it is for me here today, and certainly. Hey, weren't we supposed to be on some guy named Dean Blundell's show?
Hey, Dean!
There he is. Hey, man, you got any questions?
Hey, listen. When you guys show up, it's always important for the host to shut his fucking mouth and let you guys run a train. I got lots of questions, but more importantly, I mean, you're touching on the only things we want to talk about. We've got some breaking news to get to about House Oversight releasing some.
What happened in the last hour? What happened in the last hour? I knew it. I shouldn't have done a podcast, but shit happened.
Well, that's the problem, right? When you're on Substack all day long, like you've done 3 or 4 today, I've got 2 after this, is that while you're doing shit, stuff happens. And we had a Danish intelligence officer, your friend Jacob Karsbo, on the show the day Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Jacob.
Oh, he's incredible. He was on with us last week. We've got a Q&A this weekend about what's going on with Lavrov. We'll get to that in just a second. But things happen so fast and there's so much news all the time. You can be in the middle of a podcast and you get anxiety sweats going, my God, now I got to go talk about that. I have to disseminate that. I got to put out that piece. And one of those things happened today, and I want to start there, and then we'll get to Hegseth and a few other issues that are going on that only you guys can weigh in on.
Wait, I'm sorry, Dean, and I hate to
interrupt, please.
I always do on your show.
That's all right, buddy. It's all right.
But by the way, Hegseth stuff is breaking right now. CNN is just confirming some stuff. So go into that, and then we're going to go into the Hegseth.
Well, no, let's start there, and then we'll move over to Epstein.
Start talking.
Yeah. Talk about Hegseth. What's going on?
I hate to say it, but I told you so. But basically, they just confirmed what my sources said yesterday. Pete Hegseth, sources are now breaking, saying that Hegseth is going to have a pep rally. He is going he's going to make a speech to all the generals, and it's basically going to be get on board or get the fuck off, see you later type of shit. This is going to be a straight loyal.
Get on board what?
The new program, which he's going to give him a speech, and the new program, which I'm hearing that they haven't reported on, but what I'm hearing is taking the new enemy is the far left radical, Antifa and others that we are going to need to go after. Also, which is obviously
around the world or domestically, because he's bringing.
What does the military have to do with this?
Yeah.
Well, this is
literally nothing.
But this, it's part of the purge, and this is what we spoke with Don Bacon today. It's part of the
Saddam.
Because basically now who's not on board with the whoever is not on board is going to be let go. And this is the play, because you better than anybody, Malcolm, knows, and I'd like to hear your opinion as somebody that served in the forces. I mean, none of these 3-4 star generals are going to put up to this shit that he's going to be talking about. None of them are going to agree. So this is all played out for them to be able to get fired, and then to take these lower level guys that are 20 years away from ever being that, to pledge loyalty to get that position.
But you can't. You can't. Here's something that people, I mean, this is where Congress or the Republicans, the Democrats, and guys like Don Bacon, this is their loyalty test. Okay? These positions are there by law. They are legislated into those slots. They are cleared into flag officer positions by Congress. Their commissions to the United States do not come from the president. They're commissioned through Congress, right? And the president signs off on it. But when these 4-star generals who are fleet commanders, theater level commanders, when I say theater, I mean Indo-Pacific, right? Middle East, Middle East, Africa, Europe, NATO. These are legislative positions. They just can't say you're fired. Okay? And a real Congress, like the one that established this nation, would stand up to this for their own right to say, hey, the military will be gutted. I cannot do a 4-star general's job. And let me tell you, I learned today, they're not just bringing all 800 generals. They're bringing their senior enlisted advisors, their sergeant majors, and their master chief petty officers of command master chief petty officers. And that, which means this talk is going not just to the senior commanders, but to the senior enlisted. The senior enlisted's job, like me, I was senior enlisted. My job was to recalibrate stupid shit. Okay? See, you already got me on my fucking rant already. My job was to make sure dumb-ass shit was not happening below me, and that dumbass shit was not coming down from above me, and that we were not carrying out fucking crimes or doing dumbass things that would get people hurt or which would violate the law or the Constitution. I've had officers order unlawful things. Not things that you or I would ever think of. It's not like killing civilians, but things which would have completely compromised multi-billion-dollar top secret operations. And my answer as senior enlisted was, are you out of your fucking mind? Okay? No, not happening with me. And you can't replace me, right? Because now it's going to go to court-martial. We're all going to go to court and discuss this. And of course, your job is to introduce common goddamn sense up and down the chain of command, and to make sure this goddamn stupid ass conversation is not happening with the people below me.
Right? And we're coming to a head. This is everything you've been talking about. We've all been talking about. We're coming to a head. I mean, this is all part of, the implementation of that whole scheme of Project 2025. And this is all part of taking away, and we're coming to a head. And part of it is the military and what they're doing right now. And you saw Trump's face when asked at the Oval. He's like, what's the big deal? Like, it's like, he's he didn't even call himself.
Yeah, he said, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing.
He called him Secretary of War. He said,
good. He acted like he didn't know it was actually happening. It has never happened in the history of the United States. I live near fucking Newburgh, New York. Newburgh, where George goddamn Washington gave the famous Newburgh speech, where the entire American Revolutionary Army wasn't getting paid, and his senior officers were all assembled there with the entire Revolutionary Army. Even Washington left commanders out in the field in case some fuckery happened. And what did they want? They were going to make Washington fucking king. And what did Washington say in the Newburgh speech? Thanks for wanting to make me king, but we just fought a war so that no one would have this again, right? Now this sounds to me like this is Hegseth's anti-fucking Newburgh speech. He's going to do what? Order them to break the law? order them, say, I'm the civilian chain of command, you don't mean jack shit if you do an unlawful order. The clear question is, how many of these people are going to interpret this as lawful if he says, we're going after the American political left? In my job, I wore anchors on my position. We have a saying in my career field when it's time to bet your career against what's right. We call it, you drop your fucking anchors. And I would drop my anchors. And now I'm talking to you as a man. What you're doing is stupid shit, and you better fucking unfuck yourself. Yep. That's what I'm supposed to say. If these goddamn 800 generals, led by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, don't stand up to him and go, bullshit, unfucking lawful, then we are in a place, we are essentially where the SS is taking over the Wehrmacht, right? The regular German army was taken over by the Nazis.
Earlier this week, we had Professor Terrence Goggin from West Point. I'm sure you guys are familiar with him. Just a brilliant mind, 83-year-old academic. He's so well regarded in the military community. He's so well regarded as a historian of the United States' rich, beautiful, courageous military history. And what he said, and I'll kind of pose this to you, Malcolm, would love your thoughts too, Lev. He's like, and it was from an article that he wrote, which is why we had him on the show. I'm like, this is fascinating. He's like, Trump doesn't have the ingredients to become a legitimate dictator. Trump doesn't have what it takes. His popularity is fucking garbage. But more importantly, the military is not his. The military swears duty, honor, country. That runs through their spine. It's fraternity. It's a priesthood. It's a brotherhood. It's a sisterhood. And to the point where he kind of let us in on what happened at West Point. He goes to give this speech, the commencement address, and all the West Point soldiers are like, we don't want that dickhead giving us our diploma. So for the first time in the history of the United States in West Point, the president didn't hand out diplomas to the graduating state, according to Professor Goggin. Oh, we're a man down. Man down. He's up.
Oh, my God. That's how frustrated I am.
But is that kind of how you're interpreting this, Malcolm, a little bit? Like, okay, this is a come to Jesus moment for 800 senior officers, admirals, generals, and they're going to get their marching orders if Lev's reporting is accurate, and I have no reason to believe he's not because he's nailed it 100 times out of 100 times so far. And if your reporting is accurate, because you know these fucking people,
right.
Is that the same assessment that intelligence officers who might be going into this or other people who are going into this meeting or accountable for being part of this meeting, how they're sort of reading this too?
I think that, first off, the armed forces of the United States are controlled by the commander-in-chief of the United States and his civilian Secretary of Defense appointed under him. That is the civilian chain of command, and the undersecretaries of defense for each of their particular branches, and the secretaries of the Navy, Secretary of the Army, Secretary of Air Force, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. All civilians with civilian deputies. If the Secretary of Defense, okay, who, by the way, is calling himself Secretary of War, Secretary of Defense, the title, position, and name is a law that was passed in 1948. And by just that dint of him refusing to adhere to the law that has been in place since it was turned from the Department of War into the Department of Defense, right? And we haven't had a Secretary of War since, I believe, Stewart in the Civil War, right? But these people are showing their in-your-face, fuck you Constitution lawlessness. Mm. And so now, if this turns out to be a rah-rah pep speech America, or he's preparing them to go to war in Venezuela, let me tell you something about four-star generals and admirals. Okay, there's 50 of them. Those people are the smartest people in the United States. They are the most committed to the Constitution of the United States. And if they think that they are being presented with a William Calley moment, right? That's Lieutenant William Calley, who ordered the My Lai massacre of 250 women and children in Vietnam, who left the service ignobly and in disgrace. And I mean where the president says American liberals are now a terrorist organization, and we will be using the entire force of the armed forces of the United States. Let me tell you what should happen, okay? If they sit there passively and quietly, and I was Command Master Chief of, Naval Information Warfare Command or whatever command that I'm from, and I see this left and right, what is clearly an unlawful order, right? The first thing that should happen is not me, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff should stand up and go, I'm sorry, sir, that sounds like an unlawful order. And we're going to have to review that with the Judge Advocate General, but we're not sure that we could designate American citizens as hostile to the armed forces of the United States. They are not a foreign force. That's what he would say. What I would jump up and say, are you out of your fucking mind? Are you out of your fucking mind? You fucking suckwad major? Right? Every goddamn one of you needs to throw your fucking stars down right now and oppose this. Never in the history of the United States has the U.S. Armed Forces been turned into the Gestapo. And everybody would turn around and they were like, goddamn, Master Chief or Senior Chief. Seems to me like it is what I say. I think we ought to listen to the Senior Chief here. Somebody should go get him a cup of coffee so he can calm down. Because that's my job.
Yeah.
And that's his job. And the Secretary of Defense can go, relieve him of his fucking position. I'll be like, my fucking anchors are thrown, bitch. Right? You want to fucking hear what a chief has to say? Every one of you fucking chiefs had better stand up right now for me. Or you support this fucking dick. Right? That's like ordering me to steer the ship into the rocks because it might be fun.
Tell us how you really feel, though, Malcolm. Yeah.
I don't have to do my rant. I just did it. I've turned into the fucking Lewis Black of the U.S. Navy.
Yeah, but what are the chances? Like, let's play that out, project that out. That's some of the people involved. These guys are going to walk into a room. Which, by the way, I'm no military strategist or military expert, but bringing 800 admirals
in not even like a room. This is going to be like a presentation.
It's a Quantico at the War College at the Marine Corps University there. They have an auditorium. But let me tell you another thing. From a spy's perspective, from a guy that listened to people, I worked at NSA. We monitor you. And if you decide to bring every fucking telephone of every fucking U.S. flag rank officer and their senior enlisted into one spot, even if you motherfuckers turn them off, the moment you turn them on, giant Russian space-based collection satellites that have been there since the movie Ice Station fucking Zebra was made in the 1960s will be sucking up electronically every one of your things. Every boat launch, every cheap motel in Garrison and all around Quantico.
Because they've announced it. Everything's already been
done. Yvonne, get me a mobile away team right now.
And
fucking airplanes are going to be flying in from China and Russia and fucking Zimbabwe. Everyone who has an electronic mobile collection, anonymous, will be collecting against their phone. People will be fucking checking to see how many times Grindr pops up there. So, I mean, Jesus Christ, are you out of your goddamn minds?
Oh, dude, Charlie Kirk's death cult rally, Grindr was up 76% in Arizona over those 3 days, just so you know. And if Grindr can collect that information, don't you think there are fucking 20, 30 other countries that have a way easier time collecting that information when they announce that 800 of the most important military minds in the world are going to all be in a fucking auditorium at Quantico?
Yep. You're absolutely right. The moment I finish this podcast here, I'm going to call my podcast lady out in Portland. I've got to do this proper, right? I got to put my uniform on with my anchors so I can fucking throw them. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is stupid shit.
Yeah.
This is Department of fucking stupid shit.
This is scary shit. This is
Scary.
it, Marco. This is the shit.
Scary.
I mean, the shit, guys. I mean, the shit we've been talking about. This is we're coming to a head because, like Malcolm said, one of the things I'm also hearing is not just us, but it's the deployment of attacking Venezuela as part of what's going to be discussed over there, and part of it is going to be like the speech is supposed to be it's like a new world order. What I'm hearing, it's going to be a presentation of basically of how. I mean, I mean, I've never been in the military, so I can't even imagine what's going. This I'm just telling you guys what I'm hearing, but this is some, and the people that are saying it are scared shitless, Malcolm and Dean. Like,
What do you mean when you say a presentation of a new world order? Sorry, Lev, just kind of help me kind of chase that down a little bit. Are you talking about this multipolar world that we're hearing? And hey, these are our new partners. We're going to be moving away from those people, like that kind of shit?
Are they going to announce we're pulling out of NATO? Then you will see fucking gunfire in that room.
I don't know the exact details of the speech, and if I get them, trust me, I will be here reading them out to each and every one of you. But just from what I'm hearing from bits and pieces, that it's is going to have to do with the Antifa designated terrorist group that is part of going to lead into the.
That's crazy. That's unlawful.
I know. This is the sick part. Venezuela is what I'm hearing. Also, is going to be in the speech. Also, NATO is going to be. Europe is going to be in the speech. Our ally. I mean, I can't even imagine what it's going to be put together. Malcolm, I think, has a better idea just from hearing.
Yeah,
we talked about this the other day. I've got the book around here somewhere in my library. We already know what's going to happen and what is happening in Venezuela right now. Because, see, Pete Hegseth, Whiskey Pete Hegseth, gets all of his best ideas from Tom Clancy novels. And this one was already written, all right? It was called A Clear and Present Danger. And Jack Ryan is going to help them do a clandestine war where they shoot down drug airplanes and destroy drug boats using U.S. Navy assets and kill off drug lords with U.S. Navy assets. Fucking Harrison Ford starred in that movie. Okay. 20 years ago?
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah, I've fucking seen the movie. I've read the book. And now that you're telling me you were talking about fucking blowing up fishing boats, it's the same fucking movie. Yeah, dude.
And they're going to, look, there's 4,500, there's 2,500 Marines in the Marine Expeditionary Unit off Puerto Rico. There are only 10 stealth fighters. There are 8 U.S. Navy warships, which can do surface-to-air missile or surface strike. Okay? But you're talking about a country that has a minimal air force, but you know what they do have? 300,000 men and women. 300,000. And unless you're going to mobilize the entire half of the U.S. Army, the entire strength of the U.S. Armed Forces, which would take months to spool up the strength, to do a what? A land invasion of a fucking jungle country? When's the last time that happened? Okay? Yeah. We don't do well with people who wear flip-flops. And if you think you're going to go in and do a liberation campaign, well, let me tell you something. I've been to the land of defeated by flip-flops. They have ground game advantage. Shit will happen to you that you will not realize. Like, you'll be sitting there one day and Iranian anti-ship missiles you didn't know they had suddenly fucking start vampiring at your warships and we eat one.
Oh,
right? I am the department of don't you fucking dare until you fucking thought through everything. That's what my job was, right? Secretary of don't be a dumbass. And these guys are dumbasses.
Yeah, nobody because you gotta understand the relationship right now. I mean, this is not the same Maduro that I spoke to on the phone when he was trying to get a soft landing from Trump in 2019 when he wanted to move. This is a different Maduro. This is a Maduro that's been sitting on the side with now Vladimir Putin and Kim and Xi and Kim Jong. Now he's been taken over that by that power of access. They're funneling his oil and minerals through there like it's like no tomorrow. There before Wagner was on the ground in Venezuela. Now I'm hearing there's all kinds of forces there, not that are on the ground, from Chinese to what's it called. So Malcolm's 1,000,000% right. These dumbasses have no clue. I guarantee you. And now just think about, and they're gonna try to purge anybody that does have half a clue or half an idea of what to do, because that's why they're holding the meeting. Because like people like Malcolm that are in our military are obviously gonna say, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we blowing up ships in the middle of the why are we going to start asking questions? And in any dictatorship and in any authoritarianship and what's the first thing you do? You get rid of the people that ask the smart questions.
Yeah.
You get rid of the people the troublemakers, they call them.
Yeah.
The people, like the Malcolms of the world, those are the first ones you get rid of, because you don't want somebody standing up. And that's what this is about. That's why they're bringing everybody. Just think about all it's not just from around the world. Not only is the security risk that's involved. Just think about the security risk of if there was somebody wanted to plan some sort of attack. They're basically
All you got to do.
Yeah, go ahead.
3 gates to Quantico. Gunmen like the CIA attack that occurred about 25 years ago, right? Now, Al-Qaeda attack. All you got to do is gun them down at the gate. And you know who they are, because they're stacked up fucking 30 cars wide, leading all the way to the 95, going halfway to the goddamn second Quantico Marine Corps Exchange exit. Or in front of the Marine Corps Museum. Is he nuts?
No. Sounds like it. I mean, again,
what is the senior enlisted person who is not talking to him?
Well, that's the question I would have for you. I mean, you've got a drunk Fox Weekend news anchor as the Secretary of Defense, right? Like, let's just talk about the kakistocracy for a second. But, going back to the fishing boat bombings that we're seeing in and around Venezuela, where no fish, no man on a boat is safe. And then us not having the receipts from that, them using it as a precursor for war. Someone had to say yes to pulling that trigger, right? We're talking about senior enlisted officers or people in the chain of command that have the ability, like you did, to say nothing stupid on top, nothing stupid below. Well, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of daylight or someone like you in a position, because we're already seeing some of the most fucking terrible escalatory decision-making that this administration, this regime, and this asshole have ever made, outside of what we know is going on in every blue state and sanctuary city.
Yes, but they can do stupid-ass decision-making at the civilian level. And so long as it's not a dumbass decision that comes down to the armed forces, that is not unlawful.
All right.
You can send National Guard to Washington, D.C. I was down there with Remember Your Oath group. And you know what we did? We blasted General Milley's "We did not take an oath" speech to those soldiers day and night. One time we hit them for 12 hours straight, over and over. We did not take an oath to a king. We did not take an oath to a queen. We did not take an oath to a tyrant. We did not take an oath to a dictator. And we sure as hell didn't take an oath to a wannabe dictator. We took an oath to the Constitution of the United States, and we are willing to risk our lives in its defense. Over and fucking over. To where those soldiers were like, God damn. And we kept saying to them, I saw a sergeant major from Mississippi, black guy, reservist, and I said, how you doing, Sergeant Major? And he goes, just enjoying the weather. And I said, keep stupid soldiers from doing stupid shit. And he goes, that is exactly my job. And I said, I don't have a problem with these guys being here now. So long as the senior enlisted are going, fucking unholster that, take your ammo out of that weapon, right? This like General Russell Honoré during Katrina, where he goes, we are here to rescue people. Put your guns away. Mm-hmm. Right? Oh, sometimes someone's got to throw those fucking stars or drop those anchors to recalibrate the dumbasses that think that they're in Fallujah, Louisiana. You know?
Well, listen, this feeds into a bigger narrative, and we're talking about kettling the left, the narrative about some of these shooters co-opting these shootings, presenting it as fully Antifa. Of course, he signed this bullshit executive order to go after Antifa, treating them as if they're an actual organization, which they are not. They've got no founding member. They don't have a fucking bank account. Using that, and he's now going after a guy named George Soros, painting him as the face and the funding behind Antifa.
Wait,
And if
it's not the Rothschilds?
no, it's not the Gettys.
Same thing. No, it's always the Jews amongst these crazies.
Yeah. Well, but he needed a face, right, to be able to kind of make this executive order look like it matters. And the process is always the punishment for this guy. It's never really about what he intends on doing. It's all theater. Even this 800-person general meeting, I believe, is mostly fucking theater. But it's going to come. This is the only fucking president in my lifetime that's been able to turn theater into policy outside George W. Bush and weapons of mass destruction. So if I look at the full scale picture, a couple of things jump out at me. One, he has James Comey indicted yesterday. Two, I'm hearing that there are more. Read today that John Bolton's next. And Lev has some reporting that kind of leans into that as well, because from what I understand, before the government shuts down, he wants to pinch as many political enemies and send as big a message as humanly fucking possible.
Oh yeah, no, I wrote about this several weeks ago. Even I said that the indictments are coming down. It's going to be Comey and the other two that he's pushing really hard for. Then we might hear literally today. I'm hearing it might come towards the end. He wants it by Friday. Is Shift, as he calls him, Shifty Schiff and John Bolton. But what I'm hearing is they have Bolton is like primed up, probably next on the chopping board, and Shift is going to be coming next to right on the line right after that with Letitia James and a slew of others, because this is the whole thing. What you need to understand, it's not the first names that are coming out, the big names are meant to set are not only part of the revenge tour, but they're also part of sending a major message to everybody out there that right now is speaking out against him, that right now is speaking truth to power, that the independent journalists, the people that have not fallen in line yet. Because what it says is if he could go out there right now without and indict sitting I mean, you got the ex-FBI director, you have the sitting Attorney General of New York, you have the Senator of, California. You have names that are, you wouldn't, unless just one of those names would be some breaking story. But this is a message. And the leaks that you're hearing also come out there. It's a part of the message. This is all part of the place. See what a lot of people don't realize, and they jump on the bandwagon and they think, oh, we heard that Donald Trump, that one of the people prosecutors didn't want to do it, but Donald Trump forced them. So Donald Trump wants people to know this. This was part of the brainwashing that is part of the mega. So because as long as you don't hear him say it, he's going to deny it, because he'll sit in the Oval and say, "What are you talking about? What? Oh, I mean, I could."
Yeah, until he sends out a Truth Social tweet admitting to fucking all of it like 4 hours later, dude.
Because he can't hold in his pants. That's already that, because that's the other part of Donald Trump that comes out, that he can't stand it. But what he tries to do, it's all part of the game of the brainwashing, to infiltrate in your head, to put in there what it is exactly the message he's trying to do. And this is some serious shit that we're seeing, because as I wrote today in my Substack letter, Malcolm, you tell me if I'm wrong, what you're seeing Trump do with the DOJ is identical what Putin did with the FSB. I mean, it's one for one, and the promises.
ICE is effectively FSB, right? Yeah.
You got ICE and the DOJ. You got ICE. It's like the ex KGB. I mean, because the DOJ still needs to prosecute, still controls the law. See, ICE is not the ICE is like the mafia gangsters running around. ICE is not.
Well, there's a more accurate historical example of this.
Yeah, please, Malcolm.
Where if MAGA is the SA, right, the brown shirts, right, and that ICE would be what we call the Geheimstaatspolizei, right, which is the Nazi German for state's secret police, the Gestapo. And they are a private force which belongs to Donald Trump. And what they haven't done is they're just getting their bones, right, where they are learning the baby steps of kidnapping people. And that's what they're doing. The next phase of it is extrajudicial abduction for national security reasons. So this has already occurred in history. It's not even the FSB. This would be the KGB's MVD, right? Their internal security force
internal
of
arm.
the KGB,
Right.
you know,
Right.
or the NKVD.
Right.
This is Pinochet's intelligence agency. This is the Argentina junta's, Departamento de Inteligencia, where they were kidnapping people, torturing and interrogating them at the torpedo factory, bringing you onto a C-130, flying you 200 miles into the Atlantic Ocean, and kicking you out alive. That is what a secret police does. And we're just in baby step secret police, right? This, by the way, there's a name for this: state terrorism, where the state has an arm designed to instill fear in a population or a segment of a population of state power. Malcolm, how do you know this? Lev and I had a discussion about this because I wrote the textbook that's used at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, the Terrorist Recognition Handbook. And that shit's right in there. But you know what isn't terrorism? Funny you should mention it. Here's what's not terrorism: common crimes conducted at the local level, freedom of speech, even if the source is a hate group, nonviolent civil disobedience, local violence, civil disturbances, and spontaneous rioting. Because if terrorism was rioting like in Minneapolis or in Portland, then every fucking Super Bowl and party and every fucking World Series riot in Philadelphia or wherever would have to be declared an act of mass terrorism. Participation in elective and government processes, protests and assembly to present opposing views and express dissent, conducting acts legal under a nation's law and international laws. That's the problem. Remember what I said? His operating principle is not, I will govern America. It is, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
That's why we are in trouble.
Well, and he said it only 1,000 times, and now, he's starting to say the quiet parts out loud. He's starting to truth the quiet parts out loud. But you can wrap up the idea, I think, that anybody had that he wasn't going to be a dictator on day one, which he said he was going to be. And a couple of times he's also said, a lot of people kind of want a dictator. I'm hearing from a lot of people. I don't remember those comments in the Oval Office a while ago. He's like,
boiling that water.
Yeah. He's just warming people up, continually warming people up. But what he's also doing is giving people something else to talk about for a day like today. An hour before we got on, the Oversight Committee released 5 pages of information from the Jeffrey Epstein estate. On those 5 pieces of information, meetings with Elon Musk on Pedophile Island, meetings with Steve Bannon on Pedophile Island, Bill Gates on so do I. Steve doesn't have many
Bill
options.
Gates was just checked. Folks, that guy is too
too scared. Too scared.
Look, he was married. I'm not sure he knew what a woman was about.
But like I go through, and it's funny because I connect dots a lot slower than people like you guys do because you were in the machine, you've served your country, you guys have information and intelligence, and you have conversations I don't. But when those things came out today, all the insanity from this week, from the 800-person meeting, which the Pentagon said, yes, you can tell the world about that, right? And then, everything that we've seen from the Comey indictment, we're going to get him. He's a terrible person. To the Antifa stuff this week, signing another executive order, a second, claiming that without any information, that his cross-eyed asshole, that former fucking podcaster Kash Patel is tweeting out pictures of bullets that say anti-ICE on them, saying, hey, we got our motive now. We have to crack down on the left. They're violent, they're terrible, they're awful. But underneath all of those distractions and all that insanity, we had the Democrats get their 218th signature for the discharge petition. And you're crazy if you don't think that they didn't think that today we would see flight logs with Prince Andrew's name on it, Elon Musk's name saying, hey, is Elon still coming to the island again this weekend? Peter Thiel, several different dissertations about Peter Thiel having a great time with Jeffrey Epstein from like 2013 to 2019 at the very fucking least. So my question to you, and maybe Lev, you could kind of help go down that road. How much of this is ginning people up, making people crazy, big time distractions, make people afraid because they knew this undercurrent of the only fucking thing that I know has been able to stick to Donald Trump, which is the Epstein files? How much of this was engineered or strategically engineered so that Donald Trump would have something else to talk about while he goes to the fucking Ryder Cup today while the world explodes?
Well, it's a combination, but I want to make it very clear that that we don't understand that we're in a time where we're coming to a head where it's more than just distractions now. A lot of this stuff, this shit that he's doing by calling in these generals, yes, it's a distraction, but this is a lot more than a fucking distraction. This is something that's never been done in the history of the United States. This is something that, the purge, the loyalty to, if my sources are correct, and if what we're, that what we're hearing, this is a lot fucking bigger than any distraction you could imagine. Because this is what they're doing is, I would put it more than, yes, a lot of these, the fact that he was pushing Comey and that, yes, these are distractions, but they're also, he's pushing because he's scared shitless. He understands, he sees the polls, he understands, they understand that they're going to get slaughtered if they allow a fair and square elections come 2026.
It's going to get crushed.
He understands he's going to get crushed. He also understands that he's probably going to lose the Senate also. And he understands that if he loses those two branches, he's that whole mega world is over. They're fucked. So it's more than and the Epstein files, you're 100% right. It's not, it's his kryptonite. I've always said it. It's his kryptonite, and we're going to push it. And that's why we need to, and that's part of why he's making certain maybe moves quicker than he would have wanted to do them, if that makes sense, if you understand what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
With that said, is what we're seeing right now is a lot more than a distraction. It's an actual move to take to basically take control and turn us into a full blown dictatorship, or where we do not have an election, where he'll announce war in Venezuela, make turn this country into like he said, he's not the president for everybody. He's different.
Yeah.
He hates the other side, and he doesn't mind telling it. See, that's the whole thing. So this is a preparation for not leaving power. I mean, even take a look at the little things, that if they don't even report. I mean, they spoke about it, but he's literally turned the White House into Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah,
he's literally
dude. He's selling memberships to the Rose Garden Club. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, over no, and people are paying. And then he's putting, and what he's inviting there are senators, congressmen, and lobbyists. Just think about it, and lobbyists, for them to to push that whole. It's a crazy. There's so much that's not being reported on. There's so much that we're not talking about because of the importance of what's going on. That if you knew, and that as much as I knew, you wouldn't sleep, and I don't sleep at night sometimes because it really is scary. And but I just want to make very clear that I don't want to say that to scare anybody out there. You have a right to be scared. You have a right to be worried, but we need to turn that fear, whatever that is, into strength, into power, into That's why hearing Malcolm and the passion and what he's talking about, that's what we need. We need each and every person out there right now. We have over 1,200 people there. Each and every one of you to have that passion because of the fear and the anger and the information that we're telling you to go out and do something about it. Go out there and bring 3-4 more people to this platform. Let's grow. Let's make you. The only way it's in numbers. We could only succeed in numbers. As Malcolm always says, there's that gray button up there on the left. Go hit that button. Go ahead, Malcolm. Tell us where you gotta go.
Yeah, that gray button that says Dean Blundell, Black Man Spy, Lev Parnas. If you touch that with your finger, all the subscribe buttons come across the bottom. They pop up for all 3 of our podcasts. As a matter of fact, I just did Dean's. So,
dude, you
I
got
was
to follow me.
following
I
you.
would
I
be
just hadn't
honored.
subscribed to you. So, but you can get all of those, and we need that. I have to run, guys. This has been incredible. Look at that. We had 1,200 people out of nowhere. And I need to go get like 3 double espressos so I can
No, you
calm
don't.
down.
No, you need a little
No, that would
postum
calm
and
me
some
down.
meditation, dude. That's what you need. Hey, listen, Malcolm, I know you're busy. You got to run. You have to take care of business. But Malcolm Nance, I want to have you back to talk about
No problem.
Trump's plan for Canada, because I'm sitting here in Toronto right now
Oh,
going,
geez.
what's next?
I did an interview with the Globe and Mail about the potential invasion of Canada by the United States, but that was about 6 months ago. Now Trump is mad because he can't get it. And then he tried it with Greenland. So I would be more than happy to come up there.
All right,
by
buddy.
the way, I'm spending half of my time in the Laurentians.
Come on with the Laurentian elites, dude. I'm like 4 hours from there. I'm gonna come up. We're gonna have a good time
Oh, you're
together,
way
and
out.
you can just fill my head with all kinds of stories, Malcolm.
Okay, you show up in San Sever and I'll buy the beers.
Okay, my man, I'm in. Thanks, Malcolm.
All
We'll
right.
talk to you soon.
Take
Malcolm
care, guys.
Nance, ladies and gentlemen.
Malcolm, I'll call you later, brother.
Black Man Spy is where you can find him. Give him a subscribe. Make sure you pay for a subscription too, because being able to connect with a guy like that at a moment's notice is pretty incredible. Dude, Lev Parnas, that was fucking insane. You called me today and you're like, I got some breaking news. You dropped some hammers today and you brought in a fucking ringer. Wow, what an hour. That was incredible. How you feeling?
It's I keep looking because there's so much more breaking, there's so much more going on, and it's just like my mind right now is literally spinning because as I tell everybody all the time, just think about all the stuff that we're talking about. Think about the stuff that is breaking all over TV, the news that everybody's talking about, and it's blowing your mind. It's nothing compared to the shit that we're not hearing. It's nothing compared to the shit that's really going on behind the scenes. So when I say my mind is spinning and it's scary, it is. But I'm at the same time, I feel I don't know. I feel strong. I feel good. After speaking to Congressman Bacon,
When's that interview out, by the way? The Bacon interview.
That's going to be coming out later on today.
Okay.
It's done. I'm editing it right now. Remember, I'm
on.
one man shop.
Yeah. Me too. We all are. There's enough of us that have a big enough following and enough chutzpah. We should be able to have one person or a central location where we can do a podcast and just hand it to that person and say, just tell us when it's done.
Well,
Right?
well, you know what? One of the things I'm working on behind the scenes, and when I'm ready, I'll come out and I'll let everybody know. But I'm working on putting together a coalition, the anti-MAGA coalition, that's going to be put together with Republicans, Democrats, ex-MAGA, independents, because listen, to be able to take apart something, you need to know how it was built. And the problem with the Democrats, none of them know what makes MAGA tick. None of them know what makes Trump tick. Being somebody, that was there from the beginning, from the origination, being somebody that was part of the creation of MAGA, the creation of what we're seeing. And I'm not proud to be a part of that, but it's important because I do know what makes them breathe. I do know what makes them tick. I do know what their game plan is and the end result that they want to see. And because of that, I'm going to use that to be able to put together a coalition, to be able to do whatever we can, but to, take MAGA apart one by one and get our democracy back, get our country back, and try to save what we can, what we still have left, before he completely takes us into a position where, as I say, even if we got our country back tomorrow, it would still take us years to be able to get back to what we've lost, what he's destructed.
Yeah, Ty Cobb said generations. Could take a generation. That's 25 fucking years.
Right. I mean, and if we wait any longer, and if we don't stand up right now, and if we don't do something about it, I mean, we're talking about a century, decades, and maybe even, centuries, because, that's how scary of a time this is. And that's how far we've gotten to a point and the push that they're doing right now. So I'm not saying it to scare anybody, even though it is scary, but I am saying it to warn, to make sure to turn your fear into anger into movement, because each and every one of us could do something. And remember, there's more of us, there are them. They're the minority. He's the minority. Donald Trump is the minority. He's not the majority. The problem is that, the minority is louder than the majority. The minority knows how plays unfairly the majority, and the majority right now is just all over the place, and there's no leader, there's nobody putting it together, unfortunately. So we're gonna do whatever we can, and that's why each and every one of your support matters more than anything. I know sometimes it sounds funny, sometimes it sounds ridiculous. You got 3 grown men sitting here asking you to subscribe for $6 or $8. To me, it sounds ridiculous, folks. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I can't even imagine that at 53 years old, I would be sitting here asking somebody to give me $8 to be able to do this. But unfortunately, we don't have donors or sponsors like they have on the right. They don't have that. We don't have that power machine, the Democratic machine that's going to come out there and support the truth, support.
Yeah, Russia's not giving us $2 million a month to do
Right.
podcasts either, right? So yeah.
So we have to go out there, because right now and that's why we go out there and ask you and tell you, and to go out there and spread the news, and to go out there, become subscribers, paid subscribers, because it is so important, because every single contribution, every single subscription, everything matters more than you guys could even imagine, because you can't sit back and say, I'm going to let somebody do it. Not this time. This time, each and every one of us has to be a part of it, because if we don't all join to stop what this wave of I don't even know, I know you call it dictatorship, fascism, whatever you want, authoritarian, whatever you want to call it,
fascist authoritarian wave.
If we don't stop this wave and don't do it quickly, we're gonna pay a major price, and very quickly.
Well said, Lev. Ladies and gentlemen, that man right there on your screen is an American hero. He's an award-winning whistleblower who brought on another American hero, 5-time New York Times bestselling author, counterterrorism expert. That is Lev Parnas. Thank you to Malcolm Nance, who also joined us. Never been more important to support Lev, to listen to Lev, to read his reporting. I put out a post that you put out today about the intention of this meeting. You nailed it again. He has information before anybody else has it, which is the importance of having a guy like Lev, because he speaks MAGA. He was in those rooms, and he gives you the information that you can set your watch to when it comes to the intention of the Trump regime, the wider implications and asshole anger that we see coming from MAGA. He understands these people. He helped create MAGA, and now he's out to end it. And so please, please, please don't walk, run, subscribe to my friend Lev Parnas. Become a paid sub. His Lev Remembers and Storytime with Lev and his exclusive features for paid subs are outstanding. And not only that, my God, just supporting this gentleman means you're supporting an American hero who's doing his best to stop fascism, not just in America, but around the world. Thank you, my friend. Great to see you again, as fucking always.
I love you, Dean, man. God bless you.
I love you
man.
too, buddy.
And definitely, I can't wait to see you Monday. Hopefully we can have some rest, but we'll be back Monday, me and Dean, and we'll be giving you the weekend wrap up Monday, 1:00. See you then.
You got it. Talk to you soon. There's Lev Parnas. The weekend roundup. You'll be back 3:00, 1:00 on Monday. And that is the week in review, our very first one. We brought in some heat for today's show. We wanted to review the week, the most important aspects of the week that matter to our beautiful American friends and Canadians and North Americans who actually give a shit about democracy, who actually give a shit about their neighbors, who can read the tea leaves, if you will. I say it too much, maybe. But let me say this. You're never going to get 2 cats like that, and they do it every week. So you got to follow Malcolm as well. He's a fucking unbelievable follow. And I'm going to have him back to talk about Canada implications, the possibility of invasion, what Trump has planned, because he knows. He's intelligence, very deep intelligence. But make sure you go subscribe. Support those gentlemen. Support other people that have the ability to actually speak truth to power, and that was a powerful hour. So we'll do the week in review again this time next Friday. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you're normally here for the 5-stack, 5-stack is coming up here in 3 minutes. Zev, Shalev, and myself will be back, and we'll go over the 5 biggest stories of the day. I'm sure there'll be some duality here with some of the stuff we just talked about with Malcolm and Lev, but I cannot thank you all enough for being here. Share this with anybody you think would benefit from it to help them understand a little bit better what's going on around you and the danger that is the Trump regime, the danger that is this creep that is slowly taking over the United States. There are so many more of us, Lev said it best, than there are of them. So sharing this is so important. Subscribing is very important. Quick update. We're changing our subscription model, so the prices will go up, I believe, in October. I think the 1st or 2nd of October. But we're going to keep that deal for 50% off till the end of the month. So you can do that, share that, gift a subscription to anybody you want. But more importantly, just become a subscriber. To me, doesn't matter. Your support keeps us doing this. It keeps us motivated. It keeps us moving forward and keeps us communicating with you and giving you a place to come to hear real information that you're not going to get anywhere else. That's the whole goal of this resistance, these partnerships, these strategies that we put forward. So as long as you're sharing, as long as you're subscribing, we're pretty happy people because it means we resonate with you because we are you. So thank you. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you in a couple minutes for the 5 stack right here on Substack.